Hi, I'm Heather Tolmie from the Culinary Underground School for Home Cooks. Today I'm going to make for you a maque choux, which is a traditional Louisiana dish from southern Louisiana, and it has roots in Native American corn succotash. So I'm going to start out with some unsalted butter and some rendered bacon fat. I just cooked down about 4 pieces of bacon and got the fat out using that. I'm just going to let this heat up over medium heat. Okay, so now that our butter and bacon fat are hot, we're going to go ahead and add our Cajun Holy Trinity. So we've got some onion, we've just finely diced this, and celery, again finely diced, and then some bell pepper. I'm using red bell pepper. You could substitute green, yellow, whatever you happen to have on hand. So I'm going to saute this for probably about 5 minutes. I'm just looking for the vegetables to soften a little bit. I don't want them to necessarily turn brown. So while we're letting that set, I'm going to come over and start to get my corn off the cob. The best way to do this is just to kind of shave the top off the corn. I don't really want to go down too far. So I'm just going to go all the way around. I like to start from about halfway. When you start from the top, that's when corn starts going everywhere. So I'm just going to go about halfway down, all the way around. And then I'm going to flip it over and do the same thing on the other side. And then once I have that done, I'm going to come back and I'm going to turn my knife around and use the back of the knife, and that's what I'm going to use to get all of the rest of the corn out of the little kernels there. This is called milking the corn. So you get lots of good corn and juice out of that. So I'm going to do that the same way all the way around one half, flip it over, same thing on the other half. Just like that. Add this to the rest of my corn, again about 3 cups. And now we're just waiting for our vegetables to soften. So it's been about 5 minutes and our vegetables have started to soften. You can see the onions have become a little bit translucent. So we're going to go ahead to our next step. We're going to add some chicken stock right in. If you wanted to make this a vegetarian version, you could definitely use all butter in the beginning and just go ahead and use vegetable stock here. So I'm going to turn my heat up to about medium-high and let this come to a simmer. What I really want to do is evaporate all of this liquid out. So we're going to come back to it when it's almost dry and go on with our next step. Okay, so as you can see, most of that liquid has evaporated. So I'm going to go ahead and add my corn. And also some diced tomato and some minced garlic. I'm just going to let this cook for just a couple minutes to get it heated through. So now I've just let this heat through a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and add some seasoning. I've got some Cajun seasoning. You can just use store-bought. It's fine. I'm doing about 2 teaspoons. You can use a little bit more, a little bit less, depending on how hot you like your food. And I'm also going to add a good pinch of kosher salt and some black pepper. And then my favorite, a little hot sauce. Again, you can adjust this depending on how spicy you like your food. I like it spicy, so. Okay. And just give this a little stir. And then we're going to add some heavy cream. And what I want to do is bring this up to a boil, which should happen pretty quickly. Once that happens, I'm going to reduce it down to medium-low and just let it simmer probably about 15-20 minutes until that cream starts to thicken up. So our cream's thickened up here. We're at a good consistency. We're going to add our last ingredient. I've got a little scallion that I've chopped up here. And I'm just going to stir that in. I'm going to go ahead and turn the heat off. You can serve this really simply over rice. I've seen it lots of times with crawfish and shrimp and things mixed in, which is really wonderful. I like to do it as a side dish. It's really great with any kind of seafood. I like a big pot of love it on the plate with a nice piece of grilled fish over the top. It's just delicious. So there you have corn maque choux.